Thanks for joining us in the First Time Buyer Tribe, powered by Kate Faulkner and her First Time Buyer checklists. And today we are talking about the legal process of buying your own home, because I think, Kate, for a first time buyer, it's actually, there's quite a few scary things, but the actual legal process is quite overwhelming. And I guess the first thing is to find a solicitor that you feel comfortable representing you in the process.
Absolutely. So one of the first things to explain is that the legals have a really weird name, which is called conveyancing.
Yep.
And you can either have your conveyancing done by a solicitor, who may also do wills, divorces, lots of other different things, or you can have it done by a specialist conveyancer who has an understanding of property law and is trained in buying and selling houses primarily. So it doesn't matter whether you choose a solicitor or a conveyancer. What you want to do, though, is make sure you've chosen them before you make an offer on a property. And the reason is you want to take your time. A lot of people, when they're buying their first home, you're worried about the pennies, pounds, and you're going to be spending money with, I think it was the first time I spent money with noughts in, so I wrote cheques in my day, so you had to have commas, and that was very scary in itself. But the reality is with a legal company, you want to make sure, for example, if you're buying a new build, you want to get a legal company that is used to dealing with new build contracts that will act on your behalf. You want to make sure that if you're buying a converted property, for example, so a house split into 2 or 3 properties, that's likely to be leasehold. You want to be dealing with a leasehold specialist. So it's about choosing a legal company that understands the property type that you're buying and also understands your area. So, for example, I'm from Nottingham, and the first thing you need to know in Nottingham is that if you buy a home, we had a lot of coal mines. So you need a mining search. Now, your local legal company will know that, and any other searches, other places it might be flooding, for example. So what I would say is choose your legal company before you make the offer, and choose them carefully. And the reason for that is as soon as you've made an offer on a property, if it is accepted by the agent, they will ask you in the same phone call, who is your legal company? And until you've given them that information, they cannot write the letter to confirm that this offer has been received and made and accepted. So it's an incredibly important job to get done sooner rather than later. Take your time, because what you don't want to do is make that offer and then get rushed into choosing a legal company that isn't right. Because if you get the legal company wrong, I'm afraid your buying process will be awful.
Yeah, very much so. And typically when you choose a solicitor, you put them into funds, as it's called, just give them a small deposit, a couple of £100, just to
pay
show
for the
your
searches, basically.
and
that's
show that you're
job.
kind of employing them to undertake the transaction for you. And as you say, that's a very good starting point for the whole kind of process, because the estate agent's going to want to know that you've already got a solicitor on your side, essentially.
Yeah, and there are some stats around that say, that if the searches aren't, ordered within the first 30 days of an offer being made, the chances of your sale falling through are a lot higher. So don't underestimate. When you're asked for something as a buyer, make sure you deliver it. So the other thing is, do not make your offer and then suddenly go on holiday. My worst bane of my life is people taking holidays once they've made between offer and completion. So you might not have expected to make the offer then. If you've got a holiday, cancel it. Do not buy a home and match those two. It doesn't work. But it is really important to get a legal company that the first thing they will actually ask you is for your identity.
You have to go through that whole process.
Absolutely. And a lot of people hand over their mobile phone bill. Well, I'm afraid that's not an identity check. So you've got to have all your papers correct, because they have to prove who you are, that you are who you say you are. Then you have to pay your amount for the searches to be ordered, and it's really important that they're ordered soon. And then you might not hear anything for a couple of weeks. It kind of feels it's gone into a black hole, but you should then get a lot of paperwork, depending on how fast the seller solicitor works, with regards to the contract. And it is so important to sit down and read that contract very carefully. And if necessary, sit and talk to your legal company. So one of the other things that I quite like is a local legal company that you can sit and talk to and meet up with, because there's a lot of terms that you just won't understand, and I still don't.
And also to go in and sign documents as well is good.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Kate.
Pleasure.
I think what we're saying is you need to get your ducks in a row. That is, have your finance in place, have your solicitor lined up, and you really need both of those things actually in place before you start going to look at properties.
Definitely, yeah, ideally.
So stay tuned to the First Time Buyer Tribe for more, and we've got a checklist link right below this video where you can access Kate's advice about the legal process of first time buying.